Good morning. Dear viewers, hours from now, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will be meeting at Alaska, the 49th US state, with a view to finding a solution to the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. In the meantime, Ukrainian President Zelensky has called on British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Mr. Starmer has reportedly said that he sees viable chances of a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. The viewers, this occasion has thrown up an opportunity for all the Sovietologists in the world to go back to Vasily Terekin, the masterpiece of this great writer, Alexander Vodorsky, to construct a kind of a context between the present situation and the years of World War II. In his book, Vasily Terekin, the poet says, Biz Tibia Vasily Terekin. Biz Tibia Vasily Terekin. Vasily Terekin Muye Giroye. Slovom kniga pro boista. Slovom kniga pro boista. Bis начала, bis конеца. The viewers, the poet says that my hero Vasily Terekin, without you, there is nothing. But the question is, why this book or words were printed when there is no beginning and there is no end? The viewers, just please note the profundity of these words of this great poet. The viewers, you must be aware of the fact that the meeting is going to take place in Alaska, and Alaska, in my view, is still part of many, if not all Russians' imagination. Because in 1867, Tsar Alexander II sold Alaska to the US for $7.2 million to help repay the debts accrued due to the Crimean War that began in 1853 and ended in 1856. The viewers, it is important to note that there are some American scholars, American historians who in recent times have claimed that the Soviet leader Joseph Stalin wanted to heat up the Cold War by invading Alaska. But the records with regard to Joseph Stalin does not even suggest that he ever attempted to regain Alaska. His successor, Khrushchev, and Khrushchev's successor, Brezhnev, from Brezhnev to Gorbachev, and from Gorbachev to Boris Yeltsin, and from Boris Yeltsin to this strongman, Vladimir Putin, had shown little or no appetite for Alaska. However, in recent years, after the Ukraine war began, this one in February 2022, some lower-level Kremlin officials have talked about Alaska. Dear viewers, it is about time Mr. Donald Trump brokered a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia, given the fact that the number of casualties on the Russian part has exceeded the 1 million mark. The losses suffered by Ukraine are also very high. Let's go back to this poet. Bis Sibiya Wasili Turkin Wasaturkin Moe Giroi Solovom Kiniga Proboista Bis Nachala Bis Konista. There is no beginning and there is no end. Hence the need for a ceasefire, precautionary without any further loss of time.
Calvin, a goal that summit will take place in Alaska's largest city of Anchorage. It is their one-on-one. Trump will sit down with Putin in 3 days.
On Friday morning, President Trump will travel across the country.
The White House shared new details about President Trump's summit with his counterpart from Russia, a high-stakes meeting in Alaska on Friday that will not include Ukraine's President Zelensky.
Look, only one party that's involved in this war is going to be present, and so this is for the president to go and to get, again, a more firm and better understanding of how we can hopefully bring this war to an end.
The Trump administration has said a peace deal between Moscow and Kyiv will likely require the two sides exchanging territory, but Ukraine's leaders outright reject land swapping.
We understand the intention of the Russians to try to deceive America, and we will not allow it.
If it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect.
Karachi, Pakistan.
New York with some of the details. And Alex, why did this meeting need to happen in the U.S.?
Well, Andrew, Putin is seeking to evade arrest on war crimes charges. The Russian leader, he's got an outstanding arrest warrant by the International Criminal Court, also known as the ICC. And that means if he enters any of the 125 member nations, he could be arrested. And critically, the United States does not recognize the authority of the ICC.
The warrant, issued in 2023, stems from charges Russians forcefully removed Ukrainian children, including from this orphanage in southern Ukraine. It centers largely on charges that he committed war crimes by transferring at least hundreds of children from occupied Ukrainian territory